When we get to January, when we are sworn in, when we have counted the electors for President Trump, when the Senate is in session, we should act with dispatch to pass a reconciliation package right out of the gate that secures the border of the United States. It was the fundamental promise of the Trump campaign, but more importantly, what President Trump has campaigned on all the way back since 2016, what President Trump did while he was in office from 2017 to 2021, and the fundamental failure of the Biden administration to purposely flood our country with some 10 million odd human beings, including criminals, weakening our border, fentanyl, all of the dangers that have been posed to the American people, including the murders of Americans, deaths from fentanyl poisoning, but the burden on our social welfare state and our schools and our jails and our hospitals. So obligation number one for this Republican Congress is to ensure that we secure the border, or at least take step one to secure the border. What will that mean? Well, we need to build the wall. President Trump ran on building the wall in 2016, so let's provide the funding through reconciliation to ensure that the wall is built. But number two, the wall does no good if you have policies in place that allow people to be released into the United States. So that is what the Biden administration has done. So we must fund and empower ICE to carry out the repatriation of millions of individuals who were illegally placed into the United States in violation of law, in violation of statute, in violation of parole, in the name of parole, in the name of asylum. These individuals must be removed and repatriated through funding to ICE and Border Patrol. We need to fund the migrant protection protocols that President Trump was using to ensure that Mexico is upholding its end of the bargain and not dumping people into our country. We need to pay back the states that have had to be on the front lines when the federal government failed us, like Texas, that has spent $12 billion over the last 4 years to stand in the breach. Other states, too, have a claim to having stood up to try to secure the border. We should impose fees, monthly and annual fees, on those who have been paroled into the United States and those that have been given notices to appear in court. Well, we got to pay for all that. Impose fees. Impose fees on application of work permits. Ensure that welfare benefits only go to United States citizens and legal permanent residents, not parolees, not asylees, not people who are illegally present. Currently, that is costing us upwards of $160 billion over 10 years. Yes, your tax dollars are going to fund welfare benefits for people who have been illegally placed into the United States or who illegally came here. Additionally, let's make Mexico and other bad actor states pay for the wall by imposing a tax on remittances sent by non-citizens here abroad. Impose taxes or fees on non-governmental organizations that have been taking taxpayer money just to use against us and move people here illegally into the United States. Require illegal aliens to cover the cost of background checks. Impose fees on aliens that fail to provide approved unexpired identification documents at ports of entry. Increase financial penalties for visa overstays. Increase fees on student visas to stop the foreign takeover of U.S. colleges. Beef up 287G to allow local law enforcement to collaborate with federal law enforcement to enforce our border security and immigration laws. These are just some of the things, pretty exhaustive list, that we can do, should do, and must do right out of the gate in January when we have the pen. We can do it, and by the way, we can pay for it. And we must. Let me be clear. For all manners of our choices on reconciliation, we will pay for them. We will achieve deficit reduction, not deficit increase. That is our calling, and we must achieve it. Failure to do so will not succeed.